Hello!
Welcome to Title Update 1. Hello, my fellow hunters. I hope you are enjoying getting stuck into all of our new lovely content. I know I am, even though for me it's like 5 in the morning. Oh god, I feel so awake and I love it. So let's get things started with Mizutsune, who is, let me just say, an absolutely perfect version of Mizutsune. The soul seariness, even those like omens of violet, the flame, the bubbles, the soap, the gorgeous, colourful skin that we can turn into gorgeous, colourful armour. I'm getting ahead of myself though. So, you want to get it all downloaded, hop in, there's lots of new stuff everywhere, the Grand Hub, Shia, all of that will come in due time. We'll be taking you through all of it in detail, but for Mizutsune, you want to head to the Scarlet Forest base camp and talk to your very bestest fisher fellow, Kanya, who will give you a new little side mission to go help out her woodward fishing friend, and the whole thing is just excellent. I absolutely adore this little plotline, but I will let you experience it for yourself. But once you get to Mizutsune and watch that beautiful dance in the moonlight, you will be mesmerized, much as this Doshagama has been brutalized. And the fight itself then is, well, I mean, it's Mizutsune. If you've had Mizutsune experience, you'll recognize most of what Mizutsune is doing, especially if you've done the Rise version. That said, though, the speed, the jumping backwards and forwards, and the new array of bubbles with the long sausage bubble version, it's a really nice little switch up, and it just, and I cannot overstate this enough, looks gorgeous. The little like light reflecty almost seafloor effect underneath the bubbles is mesmerizing. It feels like a status effect without being one with how encapsulated I was before I got blasted in the face by water. And then yes, the bubble blight is here in full force. You get hit, you get minor bubble blight, you get hit by another bubble, you get major bubble blight and start slipping around. And here might actually be, at least to me, the main reason that Mizutsune is even back in a title update, because with how detailed and varied Wilds is with your hunter getting hit by things kind of animations, yeah, the bubbly stuff is brilliant. The slipping and sliding, you can get slammed and sent spinning on your back across the forest through the water. It is a pure joy. That said, the base version of the fight is kind of easy, but that was always going to be kind of the case. It's a base monster, it's not like a super endgame threat or an elder dragon or anything like that, and the armor is rare 6, which kind of tells you what you need to know, but that doesn't make it any less fun. And then yes, you get to the soul seer mode, which admittedly does kick it up a notch, and given that tempered Mizutsune is kicking people's asses, the damage it's outputting in that soul seer mode, I shudder to think. I can't wait to bring you me and Cotton taking it on. That said though, yeah, in the normal version it's just very pretty. It's a lovely switch up, some new moves like a triple backflip slam. Mizutsune absolutely dunks on the other monsters in the zone, except for duna, one would imagine. I can't wait to find out if there's a title update going on there. A title update? A turf war? I can't wait to find out if Mizutsune and duna have been working on a title update for us. That'd be really cool of them. But we will test that in due course. In any case, look, it's what you imagine it is. A beautiful, both visually and mechanically, best ever rendition of Mizutsune, with that soul seer surprise, the flaming bubbles, the switch-ups that bring. There's even a little, like a violet-esque Mizutsune straight down explosion bubble on the ground, which makes this fiery, steamy spout of water, which is a really fun new kind of super move, and I, for one, am very, very happy with it. So with that said, let's move over to the armor and the weapons here at Jamar. So, they are at the very bottom of the page underneath Shia, and you've got your Rare 6 into your Rare 8 version. And you will notice then immediately that it looks gorgeous. Like, wow, what a rendition of Mizutsune. Great sword, and the other weapons follow suit. Oh, and you'll also notice that, yes, it has a brand new weapon skill, which somehow didn't occur to us before the title update, that, yeah, Wilds has weapon skills. So, of course, they can have unique weapon skills for monsters to tie using specific weapons into perhaps armor sets, which is what Mizutsune intends you to do, as we'll see. But it all comes down to if it's any good. The actual base attack at 210 with a good chunk of white, that's solid. It doesn't beat Artian, which is probably kind of what you were hoping to maybe not hear, though 450 water's a lot of water, and the 15% affinity takes the EFR to just under 200, so yeah, 225 and 230 Artian do come out on top, as I said, but that might change if Slicked Blade is good, and it's okay. Temporarily increases affinity when wet or when inflicted with bubble bite. Now that might immediately make you go, oh, so the armor's going to give you a way to self-inflict bubble blight. And yes, bubbly dance is back that we'll get to, but not in a way you might expect. So at level 3, 9% affinity when wet, that's, you know, fine. A lot of places do count as wet, even the oil does, obviously the Scarlet Forest, but then an extra 21% taking you to plus 30% when Bubble Blight 2, which is a fairly hefty chunk of affinity, except that we get to very high affinity levels from meta armor sets, up to 90% on average, so this isn't like super needed. The weapon itself would have to be Artian beating for it to be immediately like, ooh, meta shifting, but hey, let's see how easy it is to get Bubble Blight as we move over to the armor. Though, a quick look at the other weapons. Bow is, again 210 with 15% affinity isn't like the worst thing. It's in line with some of the better non-Artian weapons, and it's very competitive with sort of middle-rolled 2-3 perfect roll Artians. But there are still better options even within the crafteds. In any case, they do all look very good. As I said, they are really, really nice renditions of Mizutsune weapons. Once we eventually do get layered weapons, they are going to be popular choices. The metal and the flowers, it's really, really nicely designed gear. In any case, yes, the armor. So it's right at the bottom above your event quest stuff, and as we can see, it is rare 6. And it gives you the following on the beta, which is of course really what we care about. Double aquatic oil slit mobility, that's sort of fine. It doesn't help with Bubble Blight, so it's not like it's that crazy. Not that you need it to help with Bubble Blight because of the set bonus we'll get to, but 3 in a 2 slot at least is good slottage. It's just nothing good from the base. The chest is a burst constitution and 2 slots. That isn't the worst thing, and in maybe a few niche cases this might be a welcome source of that 1 burst depending on your configuration, especially as more armor sets get added, but it's also not going to set the world on fire. Neither are the gloves. To evade window and 1 extender with a 3 slot. I can see this coming into a more like side grady, off-meta-y, evade-focused build, but it's still not going to beat out your kind of meta-y goreness that is dominating along with your arkveld. Of course, so sheer armor remains to be seen, but this is how it currently be. 2 constitution, a 3-2-1 is again good slottage, but base constitution, which is just a 1 slot deco, it's not like it's the most incredible thing. However, the legs, 2 burst and a 3 slot, ergo 3 burst from legs, that is incredible value. That outvalues your Guardian Ebony Odogaron helmet, which is a big deal because that's a meta piece on sets and weapons that do want to get max burst, which isn't a crazy amount with element in the state that it is, but this is a certainly potent leg, and any build and set that is going to be maxing out burst is going to be looking at this, and honestly, this is the single single most exciting gear-based thing that Mizutsune being in the game has done. Now, the actual set bonus then is Bubbly Dance, Mizutsune's prowess. With the 4 set, you can't get Major Bubble Blight, which means no Slippy, so you just get Minor, and that gives you more evasion. That's nice. And then you can give yourself Minor Bubble Blight by evading many times. Think of this like the Bubble Blight version of Gore Magala's self-inflicting frenzy, and then you can get benefits from that. Though of course, because you need 4 set to get the Minor Bubble Blight, you can't combo it with like Resuscitate, as that's a 3 set, and you can't get 2 set Gore, which is a huge loss. So you're kind of in a place where there's no real reason to sort of use this. You might think, oh, what about the 2 set? Sadly, with just the 2 sets, you can't get Minor Bubble Blight self-inflicted, so it would only really help against Mizutsune. So sadly, because you have to commit to 4 pieces of, apart from the legs, not great armor, especially compared to what you'd be giving up, in order to properly use the bonus 30% affinity from the weapons, which admittedly is very nice, but it's not really nicer than a just generic like crit boost 3, it's very close, and then the base weapon itself isn't going to outdo Artians, even on just pure raw, so you're kind of in a situation where the combination of weapon and armor is really fun, and is going to make some cool, like, again, side-grady themed meme builds, but as it currently stands, it's not like we're all going to be rushing to wear Mizutsune and use Mizutsune weapons, but hey, that is okay. More armor variety, more options, you don't always have to play the min-max best of everything, and that's completely okay sometimes. The game is still better for having this in, and again, those legs. So that then is what Mizutsune is bringing to the table. A incredible rendition of a big favourite monster for the community, some interesting weapon and gear choices that open our eyes to the potential of weapon armor set synergy skills, and, well, that's kind of that. We will be with you very soon with a breakdown on Shia and Shia equipment and how all of that is working, but until then, for now, have a great time title updating, and like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.